Okay, everybody, here we go. First round of eliminations. Let's see what happens. They got me paired up against, looks to me to be a 70 Cuda. And it's a nice one. Red, black vinyl top, 440 hood scoop. So I'd say it's probably a 440 with a big old freaking 8-inch.
Good seeing you, Mom and Pop.
950 Dominator on there.
Alright, good luck, guys.
Like he got us, caught me on the top end, he even pedaled it. I'd say the car probably ran the number. I'd say I either broke out on that 1550 or he completely annihilated me on the tree. One of the two. One of the two. Either he annihilated me on that tree or I broke out on that 1550. If I had to guess, I think I did okay on the tree. I'd say I broke out on that 1550, but it doesn't matter. He was first anyway. He pedaled it. So he probably drilled me on the tree. And I broke out, I'd say, because he caught me pretty easy. Wasn't even a race. It was a joke for him.
1551, brother.
And I left. Well, he got us good, you guys. I believe that was the closest drag race I've ever had in my life. I dialed this car in a 1550 and I ran a 1551 with a 2. Look at this. If you can see it. Probably can't read the damn thing, but anyway, I don't give a shit. I'll take a picture of it. 1551 with a 2 at 90.979 miles an hour. He dialed in a 1278 and he ran a 1282. So he was only 048 off of his dial in, but I was only 012 off my dial in. I was 1/10 of a second off my dial in. 12 thousandths of a second off my dial in, and he was 48 thousandths of a second off his dial in. That is damn good. That's 2 guys right there that know what their car is going to run. Now his margin of victory was 0.075 of a second. He beat me by 3/4 of a second on the top end. You heard him pedal the throttle. It was embarrassing. He came around me and he knew it. So he let out of the gas, and then he pumped it one more time just to make sure he was still in front, because he knew he had me, because he knew he drilled me on the tree. And he didn't cut a great light himself. He cut a 168, and I cut a 279. A 279. What a shit light. That's a rookie light. I cut lights like that when I was in high school in my freaking 4-speed, 4-cylinder Pinto. That is embarrassing. In my first time run tonight, I cut a 006 reaction time. A 006 reaction time. In my second time run, yeah, 006 reaction time in my first time run. My second reaction time, my second time run, 046. And then I get in the first round of eliminations. And if I would have cut either one of those lights, even similar to what I did the first 2 times, I would have won that race hands down. I dialed my car in a 1550 and I ran a 1551. I used just a little bit of squeeze on the top end in 3rd gear because I knew the car wasn't going to run a 1550. It's 88 degrees out here. The humidity is out of this world. It's 89%. I mean, you sweat just sitting in place. Even with it's like, look at the flag out there on the pole. It's not even moving. It's just like dead air. It's terrible, terrible air. And this car usually runs, 1520s, 1530s. On a day like today, crappy 1550s. It's got 318,000 miles on an original 4.6 single overhead cam. At least it's an X code motor. At least it's a Romeo. But this is the old style block. This is a 98 non-PI engine, and I've got plans for it. That's why I wanted to come up here and get a time slip. This is the before, and we are soon to have the after, because I have gotten a hold of me a Powerdyne BD-10 centrifugal supercharger. And all I have to do is get a bracket for the man, I love a 66 fastback Mustang right there. It's awesome. Anyway, I just need to get a bracket for a Powerdyne BD-10 centrifugal supercharger for a 4.6 single overhead cam, NPI block. I'm gonna have PI heads, PI intake, long tube headers. I think that makes a difference. What I like about the Powerdyne centrifugal superchargers, no oil hose, no oil internal belt drive system in the supercharger, the heat in that centrifugal supercharger is like non-existent. There's no friction in there. It's belt driven. It's like far and above the best centrifugal supercharger that you can get your hands on. So anyway, I'd say in the next 2 weeks, if I can't find a bracket, I saw a couple of brackets on Amazon and eBay from 150 to 170, and I'm just not willing to pay that for a 1/4 inch, 5/16 inch thick piece of aluminum with 10 or 12 holes drilled in it. It looks kind of like a banana, but bigger, and you know, got a little square made on the end of it. I think I can take my welder and some steel and a bandsaw or an angle grinder, and I do have a bracket that came with my BD10 for a 302 Ford V8, old style 302 Ford V8. So, you know, like I said, I think I can make that bracket. I think I can make the 302 bracket and maybe a couple of adaptations. A couple of open cockpit cars here. A couple of dragsters. Love these things. Love 0671 blowers, man. These things are righteous. Anyway, like I said, so we're gonna have a 4.6, and it's not gonna be this 4.6 with 318,000 miles. I'm taking this short block out. I have another X-Code NPI block that's only got like 110,000 miles on it. I've already done the ring gap on it, new rings, all new bearings, plastic aged them. Believe it or not, got away with standard bearings on the mains and rods. It's beautiful. Brand new MLS gaskets, PI heads, PI intake. So since I got the PI heads and PI intake, don't got to worry about that little gasket thing. Don't worry about that little. Don't got to worry about that little trick there. Don't got to worry about that little trick that everybody does with the silicone when they put a PI intake manifold on non-PI heads. I don't got to worry about that because I'm going to have PI heads, a PI intake, a non-PI block, and pistons. And according to Richard Hogan, or whatever his last name is there, Mr. Engine Dyno guy, he's pretty cool. I watch all his videos, and he's got a lot of them on superchargers, all brands of superchargers, centrifugal superchargers, small block Fords, small block Chevys, single overhead cam Fords, 4.6s, 5.4s, 302s. I mean, you name it, and he's got specs, and I'm building an exact copy of a 4.6 non-PI block with PI heads and intake and competition cams, 262 cams. That's the ones he recommended. Long tube headers, and I'm going to put 42-pound injectors, and according to Richard there, he got 408 horsepower out of that combo on his dyno. So I expect to get similar to that, since I'm going to have the exact same setup. So let's call it 400. And I expect the power dyne to make between, what do you think, 150 and 200. So if we got 400 on the motor, and let's call it 150 on the power dyne at 6 to 8 pounds of boost. And I think it should do that with a 3-inch pulley, which is what it has on it. So anyway, you know, we're going to be looking at 550 ponies all the time, every time I turn the key. And my cousin and I are getting ready to put a 411 gear into a Ford Performance 8.8 positive traction unit. So I'd say a 411 gear and 408 horsepower motor with a 150 to 200 horse centrifugal supercharger, you know. So we're looking at long tubes, like I said. I'm going to put butterfly cutouts for side pipe exit exhaust in front of the back wheels, and then have some 2.5 exhaust go over the axle and out the back. So when I want to flip the switch, then the exhaust will not go out the side pipe. It'll go ahead and go through the mufflers, Flowmaster 2 chambers, 2.5. And you know, over the axle and out the tail. But when I'm racing, flick the switch and close the butterflies, and then we've got a straight shot from the headers, about 3 feet of pipe, and a NASCAR style side exit dump right in front of the rear wheels. It's going to be one of those thin rectangular style side dumps, real smooth looking underneath the factory ground effects on the side. I saw a guy do it on another YouTube video. It was really cool. He fabbed them out of sheet metal, so I'm going to do the same thing. It was so awesome, I've got to do it. And you know, do it with the butterfly valves. So I'm going to get a quality set of those butterfly valves, not a set of those Chinese jobs. I figure, get a set of those Chinese jobs, you're going to get what you pay for, you know. Some of that Chinese stuff is alright, guys, let me tell you. But some of it sucks, you know. I've got quite a few Chinese things over the last couple of years. Hub bearings, axle bearings, you know, not as anything as important as a ring and pinion or an axle or a ball joint or anything like that. But like I said, hub bearings, axle bearings. Hell, I even got a 3-row aluminum radiator for an automatic transmission. The only thing I had to do was put some good transmission fittings into the fittings that were in the radiator from the factory, because they didn't do too good of a job on their sizing of their fittings. And the tranny lines, factory stock Ford tranny lines, like to seat just a little. So I just put an adapter fitting, a 5/16 thread to 5/16. Wow, that's going to be a good race right there. A dragster against a door slammer, and they both are 8-second cars. So here we go, 8th mile. But anyway, like I said, you know, it ought to do okay. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. So we'll see, because in about 2 weeks it should be on the car, and we'll be back at the drag strip, and we won't be running a 1550. And remember, like I said, I actually hit the button for about maybe 1 second, 1 1/4 seconds in 3rd gear. So what a joke. The car would have ran probably the car would have ran a 1575 on its own if I didn't tap the throttle on the end, you know, tap the button on the end. So, but you know, let me give a little credit where credit's due. I do have a Nitrous Express mainline kit. I've got the 150 jets in it, and my very first time run today, I played with it. I hit the button at 3,000 RPMs in 1st gear, and I kept the button down the rest of 1st gear, all of 2nd gear, and all of 3rd gear, and the car ran a 1468 at 106 miles an hour. So it was moving. So that's just to give Nitrous Express their due. And my first run in eliminations, like I said, you saw it, 1550. That was just on the motor, and you know, you're talking about a 3,070 pound car with a 130 pound driver. So you know, only a 3,200 pound car, but you know, a 327 gear with a 318,000 mile V8. Although the engine doesn't smoke or use oil or anything like that, it does use a half a quart between oil changes, 5,000 mile oil changes. I've maintained this car excellently. My wife and I have owned it for 9 years. It stays in the garage every night. But like I said, these little engines from the factory were 225 horse. I'm sure with 318,000 miles, probably closer to 320. It's probably closer to, even with the cold air intake, fender well cold air intake, and the BBK H-pipe 2.5 inch, and the BBK 2.5 inch exhaust over the axle out the back, and the 2.5 inch 2-chamber Flowmasters. I'm sure the damn thing's probably only making 200 ponies with 318,000 miles, so I'm not mad at it. You know, 1550 with the button for 1 second 3rd gear. With that gear, that's about what to be expected. Like I said, I hit the button for the top of 1st gear, the rest of 2nd, and all 3rd, and the little car ran a 1468 at 106 mile an hour. So, you know, that mile an hour tells you the car was coming on top end. It was coming. It really was. And that's not bad for an engine with 318 freaking thousand miles. And, you know, hey, like I said, I'm not mad at it. Not at all. But anyway, like I said, guys, I'm going to make some videos this summer, all summer. Country Boys Racing Channel, Country Boys with a Z, Country BOYZ Racing Channel.com, and we're on YouTube. And like I said, we got a few videos, a couple drag races last year. The car was in the high 15s then, a couple of low 15s on some cool nights. That was about it. And that was with no mods at all, just cold air intake and exhaust. That's all the car had last year. I put his exhaust on, the nitrous kit on it this winter, and we saw it picked the car up a whole second in the quarter mile, a whole second. And that was only hitting it at the very, very top of first gear, and then through second gear and through third gear. I did not hit it right off the line. So, you know, I don't think that's bad. You know, I shipped the thing at 6,000 RPMs. I hit the nitrous in first gear on that first run. I hit the nitrous at, I think it was right at 5,000 RPMs. So it was only on the nitrous in first gear for 1,000 RPMs, and I shifted to second, let off the button while I shift. Then when the car shifts, I'm back on the button all through second gear, let off the button, shifted to third, back on the button. Car run a 1468, like I said, 106 mile an hour. And the last run with hardly no nitrous at all, just motor. The thing runs a 1551 on a 1550 dial at 90 miles an hour, like 90.5 miles an hour. And I cut a crappy ass 227 light. And if the guy next to me, he cut an 078 light, and I was only 12 thousandths off my dial in, he was 75 thousandths off his dial in. If I could have just cut a crap ass 209 light, I would have won that race. So that sucks. Like I said, my first light tonight was a 006. My second light tonight was a 046. And my first light in eliminations, wouldn't you know, it's a crap ass 229. So that's the way it goes in drag racing, guys. There's a million ways to lose, especially in bracket racing. But when you win, you will get no bigger thrill. So that's my first race this season. It's been a whole year. Hey, I saw what's gonna happen. The nitrous is gonna pick the car up a full second, so we know that for sure. We'll have the supercharger on it when we come back to the track in 2 weeks. We're gonna come back to this exact track. I actually hope the temperatures are the same. I hope the damn humidity is the same, so I can get an accurate, you know, data. If it's much cooler and the humidity's much less, the car's gonna run much better. You know, and I'm not gonna get any kind of accurate test, but you know, we'll find out close anyway what the fresh engine does with the PI block, non-PI block. I'm sorry, non-PI block, PI heads, PI intake. It's gonna have a 70 millimeter throttle body, not the stock 65 or whatever it is. The stock Mustang throttle body. I don't know if it's a 56 or a 65. I really don't know. I think it's a crappy ass 56, believe it or not. But I'm gonna get a 70 millimeter throttle body and from a Lincoln Aviator and put it on there. Those are 70 millimeter. I heard they're worth about 6 or 7 horsepower, maybe. We hope. Who gives a shit? It's gonna be more air anyway, because we're gonna have that supercharger on there. So we need a bigger opening for more air. So that's the only thing I'm doing. We're gonna have MPI block freshened up. It's gonna have a good nitrous ring gap, but also boost ring gap while we're there. 6 to 8 pounds of boost max. I'm not planning on hurting this engine. It's gonna be a daily driver that hopefully will get in the low 11s. I hope, you know, on engine, you know, with the supercharger and a 411 gear. Hopefully low 11s. And you know, it's always been my dream to have a car that I could get in, turn the air conditioner on, drive to the track, you know, run a 10 consistently throughout time trials, throughout eliminations, maybe win a couple rounds, maybe not, who cares, but the car runs 10 consistently. And you know, even if I do have to hit the nitrous on the top end in third gear, that's cool to get that 10. You know, if the car runs low 11s with engine and supercharger, you know, I'm gonna have that all the time, every time I start the car, and that would be cool. A daily driver that runs low 11s on street tires. And I think, like Richard said, you know, 408 horsepower engine with a 411 gear, and you know, a Powerdyne BD10, which is easily capable of an additional 150 to 200 horse at 6 to 8 pounds of boost with a 3-inch pulley, and that's what we're gonna have. So let's call it 558 horsepower, guys. All right, we'll just say the Power Dyne's only going to make 150 horse, not 175, not 200, which is all the estimates I've saw. It makes closer to 175, 200 horse, around 6,000 RPMs on a 4.6. You know, with the two 62 cams, competition cams, and a 70 millimeter throttle body, and long tube header, and a 42 millimeter injector, like Richard said. That's exactly what I'm doing on a non-PI block with a PI head and a PI intake. That is exactly what I'm doing. Exactly what the man said. 408 horse. Okay. We'll throw the supercharger on it. We'll give it a low estimate, 150 at 558. That should put the car 3,070 pounds. The car should run, you know, according to my math, my formula, every one I get off the internet, the thing should run a low 11, 1120, 1125, 1130, no problem at all, with 558 horsepower at 3,070 pounds. And that's what the car weighs. I've drove it over the scales at my local rock quarry. 3,070 pounds without me in it. I'm 130 pounds, I'm a light guy, I'm 5'8". I'm not a little short midget, 5'8", but you know, just a thin guy. Used to run cross country and track, so that's the way it is, you know. But anyway, like I said, sorry to be boring you guys, but this car's nickname is Casper, and people are gonna learn that before it's over with. This will be a daily driver, 10-second car. Good sound of the S10 there. Got about an 87 S10, purple and white, taking on a nice little black 78 Malibu. Looks like 78, 79. Yeah, according to the chrome trim around the quarter window, 78, 79. Kind of like Bill Hoskinson's. Old Man's Garage. One of my favorite YouTube channels. I'm a fan, Bill. Hey man, tune into my channel, Country Boys Racing. Check it out, man. Country Boys Racing channel. We're here too, man. Support us, we support you, bro. Hell of a launch. Looks like the Malibu got the lead on him. The S10's catching him, running him down. Push him out the back door. Break out. Wow. Wow. Okay. That's the way it goes, man. Like I said, guys, million ways to lose a drag race. You know, I ran a 1551 on a 1550 dial-in. Guys, you don't lose very often when you run 1/100th from your dial-in. When your ET from your quarter-mile time at the end of the track after your race is only 1/100th from the number that you wrote on your windshield. You don't lose very often when that happens. Unless you cut a shit light. I mean, I could have had a taco burger and some chips and salsa. I was sleeping so bad on the line. I basically gave the win to that beautiful 70 Cuda. It would have been a real delight to put him on the trailer, because he didn't drive his car up here. I drove mine. His car runs a 1270. That's what it's got, 1270. Big block Mopar. Big block Mopar, 410 gear, and it runs 1270. Okay? Alright. We got a 318,000 mile Jewel here with 200 pounds of subwoofers and tools in the trunk. And, you know, well, you see what it is. But in 2 weeks we'll be back, and you know, 1270 won't be in our realm. I figure on being at least a second and a half faster than that 1270, so we'll see what happens. If it's not, you know, we'll scratch our head and go from there. You know, it is what it is. But we will continue to get the car faster as we go this summer. Today is May the 21st, Saturday. I was going to come and test and tune last night, but would have had to come by myself just like I did tonight. But I heard the car count is pitiful on Friday night up here at Kentucky Dragway, formerly Mountain Parkway Motorplex. The car count used to be huge, 25, 35 cars in a class. I mean, the trophy class used to be phenomenal up here. quarter mile trophy class. It was phenomenal. I mean, there would be 30 or 40 cars. I mean, only $20 to enter, you know. I mean, this was 15 years ago, but it was a blast. There would be so many cars, and everybody knew their cars, you know, because the same guys came every week almost. You get a couple of newbies every now and then just to throw some curveballs in there, you know, and occasionally somebody'd be good, you know, have some beginner's luck, and throw a monkey wrench in there on the hot shoes, and it would make it fun, man. It really would. But even though you only won a damn, you know, $20 to show up on Friday night, and that was the fun night for trophy class. It was Friday night, not Saturday night. Friday night was normally test and tune night, but it was also trophy class night, quarter mile. And that's when all the trophy guys would come, Friday night. You know, right after work, everybody'd show up, and you could test and tune, make all the passes you wanted, and then at 8 o'clock, it was eliminations, trophy, you know. And occasionally they'd have a 6-foot trophy night, but normally it was just a 3-foot trophy, you know. And if you made it to the final round and you won and you got that 3-foot trophy, it was pretty cool. I mean, it was pretty cool to have that 3-foot trophy at home. And, you know, we got lucky a few times and, you know, got a couple of those trophies. And, well, more than a couple, but, you know, who gives a shit? They're just plastic trophies, right? Anyway, after I got 40 or 50 of them, my mom made me start putting them in boxes and putting them under the house. So that's when I stopped drag racing for trophies and kind of got out of drag racing for a while, got into motorcycle racing. And, you know, 15 years later and 9 broken ankles and 7 broken collarbones and 14 broken ribs and 1 broken spine and 47 broken fingers and 4 concussions and, you know, lose half your brain fucking power. You know, here I am back on 4 wheels again and glad of it. You know, those of you that are thinking of going from 4 wheels to 2 wheels, stay in your 4 wheels, okay? It'll protect you, it'll keep you safe. Stay the hell off those 2-wheel killers. You know, maybe you can handle your bike, because I sure could. It's the idiots out there that aren't looking for bikes, and they'll kill you. They will kill you. Stay off the bikes, guys. Live longer. If you want to get on a bike, take it to a track. Take it to a track, then the other guys will be skilled. You'll be skilled. You won't get killed. It's a lot of fun. That's the way I ended up doing it. But anyway, like I said, back on 4 wheels now. And I've always wanted to have a 10-second car. Like I said, I can get in on a summer day, start it up, daily driver car that I drive to work every day. You know, regular old Mustang GT, 1998, SN95 Mustang GT. 22-year-old car, you know. I don't need to go buy a new LS 6.0 Camaro, you know, to end up with a 10-second car. I'm going to take this 22-year-old car. I'm going to put a fresh 4.6 in it. I'm going to put a 1 centrifugal supercharger on it. Stock right out of the box with a 3-inch pulley. Long tube headers right off eBay. Some 2.5-inch exhaust with some side pipe cut out with the, you know, flapper valves on a switch. And, you know, 150 nitro shot on the top, and we'll see what happens. You know, and a 411 gear with a Ford Performance pause unit and you know, Motorcraft ring and pinion. What the hell? You know, 411. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, you know, I got stock axles. I think they're the 29 spline, not the 31. So you know, it's 8.8 rear end. The thing acts like it's rock solid. It's never even freaking gave me an iota of a problem. I dig these 8.8s. Everybody should put them in everything as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, guys, I know I've been rattling for 36 minutes, and I'm going to get off here and end this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the drag racing and the commentary. And like I said, 2 weeks from tonight, we will be back. We'll make another video. The car will be damn a whole lot faster than any 1550. Take it to the bank, guys. Have a good night. Blaine Payton, Country Boys Racing. I'm out.